Thank you. This is wonderful. We're having our first meeting of the year, and I'm all excited about it. I didn't know we had 2 items, but it's good to see that the Albany County Airport Authority is making an appointment, and that's the first item on the agenda. Stephen H. Hyder is being nominated by Sean Ward, and he's not here today, but I'd like somebody to speak for him before we consider this. Allison?
I actually spoke with former Chief Hyder earlier this afternoon, and I know that there are quite a few people at this table who know him personally and professionally. I had the pleasure of working with him for 5 years at the town of Colony, and I know him to be a highly professional, highly qualified man who has a keen interest in aviation and the economic growth of our area regionally, which obviously this airport is one of our economic engines. And I know him, as I've said, to be highly qualified, even-tempered, a vast amount of experience, and conveniently lives very close to the airport because of his personal interest in it. So he apologizes he could not be here today. His father-in-law is very ill, and he is caring for him. But he did want to extend his appreciation if he was so. His nomination was put forth.
Mr. Kraus.
Just to echo my colleague's comments, I've known the chief for a long time. I can't think of anyone who would be more qualified for this position. His experience is immensely broad in the numerous areas, and this is one I just think he will excel at. And the fact that he lives right there in Colony, he is close to the airport, and he's very familiar with the operation of the airport. I think it's an excellent choice.
Thank you, Mr. Kraus. Gil?
I agree with my colleagues. I know Steve quite well too, and I think he's highly qualified and is an asset to the board. And I'd like to make a motion that we accept it.
We have a motion on the floor, second by Mr. Kraus. Joe?
No, I'd second that.
Seconded too? Okay, thank you. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. Now, the main order of business. I've invited Tom Basile here, and he's sitting over in the bleachers. But I'd like to invite him up to the front and out of the bleachers. And the
Main order of business.
The main order of business is CDTA today, and
Thank you.
this is the man that knows all about it, in my opinion.
Well, thanks, Doug, and thanks, everybody. A lot of people I've known in the room for many years. I'm not sure what that says about my stage in life, or your stage in life, but that's besides the point. But really, it is reflective of how we try to run our organization. We believe I believe very strongly in community and partnerships. We have a long relationship with Albany County, and as I look around the room, a long relationship with many of you to make our service as good as it can be. I've given you, at least for the last couple of months, sort of a stock presentation, but we can pretty much, in the next few minutes, go wherever you would like to go with the presentation. Hopefully you know a little bit about us, a little bit about who we are and what we do. You might not know, though, what it takes to run our organization and really the partnership that we have sort of relied on to make our services really as popular today as they've ever been. I was talking with some of our people in IT, our IT department today, and it looks like we will break our ridership record for the 3rd consecutive year. And really for the next couple minutes we'll talk about how we do that and what it takes to make our system successful. You may not know that we operate in 4 counties, Albany County, Rensselaer County, Schenectady County, and Saratoga County. I was just talking to Paul Miller about some interest in Amsterdam for our services. And actually we have an interest in Amsterdam because the new casino thinks that there's significant jobs where people would be attracted from Amsterdam. The issue there though is Montgomery County is not a member of the authority. They're not part of the service district. But as you know in government, there's more than one way to skin a cat, and we're working on that. About 60,000 clicks of our fare box every day. That's not 60,000 people, that represents about 28,000 individuals every day. Most people take 2 trips. 60,000 clicks of that fare box every single day. We operate the rail station in Rensselaer. We own and operate that, we built that. Some of you may remember that was pretty much a headline every day in the Times Union for about a year when we built the station. Apparently they didn't like public entities building buildings that ended up being as efficient and effective as you can possibly get. We haven't had an issue or a problem there in a number of years. People use the station, about 1 million people a year come in and out of the station, board trains, mostly going to New York City, every day without incident. We're very proud of that. 650 people, speaking of proud, 650 people work at CDTA. They make my job very, very easy. 2 of them with me today, John Scherzer and Jamie Watson, who pretty much take care of all the public-facing part of the business. But 650 people with jobs ranging from bus operators to service technicians. By the way, if you know where we can find good service technicians, let us know. Just like the automotive industry, we can't find people, qualified people, to work on $450,000 pieces of equipment that are no longer your mother's city bus or your dad's city bus. These are highly technical pieces of equipment, and we're having a hard time, just like the automotive industry is, in finding qualified technicians. So we have bus operators, technicians, a whole bunch of support staff. You may see men and women in smaller vehicles, our supervisors on the street all the time. And we have about 75 members of our management team, so 650 people, 75 managers, and I affectionately say the rest of them work every day. But what I mean by that is it's rank and file, hard labor. Driving a bus is not easy. It's a long job. You work long days. Oftentimes you work weekends and nights. So we're very proud of the people who do the work for us. Our operating plan, our board is expected to pass our budget on Wednesday. It's $81 million. This year's increase in the budget is about 1.3% from last year. We've maintained the operating, the expense side of the plan very tightly. You live within the resources you have, you don't exceed the resources you have, and then stick your hand out and ask people for more money. That's not how we think the organization should be operated. Looking at many of you who are aligned with people in the Assembly and Senate, they do a great job in supporting us locally. I know right this very minute, they're debating the inclusion of more funds for upstate transit systems like CDTA as part of the state operating budget.
Good.
So let's keep our fingers crossed and we'll say good when we get it. Secrets to our success, I think it's pretty simple, but it's very difficult to execute every day. It starts with a quality workforce. It starts with a well-trained workforce. It starts with a well-compensated workforce. Those 3 or 4 things go together. They go hand in hand. One doesn't exist without the other. Modern equipment and facilities. Our bus fleet is as new and as clean and as efficient as it's ever been. We have a very thoughtful purchase plan. We don't buy buses in bulk. We buy 12 to 15 every single year so that the organization is never overwhelmed by technology. Frankly, the technology in these vehicles changes so quickly that if you buy too many of them at one point, your workforce is literally overwhelmed with new technology. So we steadily infuse new technology every single year. And really, buses are now pieces of technology. That's how we look at it. We're community-centered, as we've talked about. We do things like this once or twice a week. And we believe that in order to be a partner in the community, you have to be in the community. That's been our focus for the last few years, and I think it's working, as evidenced by our record ridership. You may or may not know, we're in the process of installing smart card and mobile ticketing technology. We have the farebox system installed. Within a few months, we will go live with smart card payment programs and mobile ticketing, so you'll be able to use your phone to pay your bus fare. We're advancing our bus rapid transit lines right outside. You'll notice that the station is red and silver. That's the route that operates along Route 5. It's called Bus Rapid Transit. It stops much less frequently than our regular routes. We have one planned for the Washington Western Corridor that will connect this area with the Harriman campus and Crossgates, and one that will go right up the Route 32 River Corridor that will connect Albany, Watervliet, Troy, Lansingburg, and eventually could go up into southern Saratoga County. The investment there, the planned investment, is about $100 million in infrastructure, buses, and technology. 80% of that will be federal funded. We're in the what's called the Small Starts Funding Program, and frankly have been approved at every step. So we've covered bus rapid transit, so we'll skip that, but I thought you'd be interested in what the map will look like, and if it looks like a subway map to you, that's intentional, because bus rapid transit is supposed to be sort of the middle ground between conventional bus service and light rail or subway service. I'm asked all the time about light rail in this region. Pretty blunt with my comment about that. The region has neither the density or the volume needed to support light rail. Frankly, we can't afford it at $1 billion a mile. Not $1 million, $1 billion.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No,
I just have a
please.
very
I
brief
get
question.
bored.
Oh, the North Albany, obviously, as you well know, I have a very keen interest in the BRT line
Yep.
running along
Yep.
Route 32
Yep.
down into Albany. And the North Albany stop, where's that located?
Those are approximations. I don't think
Approximations,
what we've said is North Albany deserves a stop. Where exactly it's going to be, not determined.
The only reason I say that is we have very luckily had some recent development investments made along Route 32 and in obviously the village which I represent, and I obviously would love it if they had an opportunity to be able to take the fast transit into, especially if they're working downtown.
Yep.
I think a lot of professionals will probably come to these developing.
Tell you what, email me tomorrow, I'll give you the exact.
You got it. Well, I don't need I'm just trying to get a
Well,
sense and
okay.
make sure I communicate it.
Broadway.
Yeah, well, Broadway's
Broad-
long.
Well, near the North Albany School.
Oh, I know where that is. Great. Okay.
Do you have a schedule for the Purple Line?
That's not developed yet either.
Okay, but when, do you have a,
Schedule, you mean?
when do you think might be implemented?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, not the bus schedule, I'm sorry.
Well, you
The
can
one
see
going
how-
out to
you
Gilmore.
can see how I think. Purple Line is probably 2018.
2018, huh?
It's gonna take a while. But not to bore you, but you all do this for a living. You're in the federal pipeline for funding. There are a number of steps that you have to go through. We're in the environmental clearance steps. We're not even into engineering yet. So 2018 at the earliest. But that's what they look like. The red line exists, the purple line is planned, the blue line is planned as well.
I've been getting requests about bus stalls that you put near urban areas
Yep.
in the city where we got new stores come along.
Yep.
Are there any plans for the urban city landscape, especially along the bike path, the bike and hike path on South Pearl Street area?
All we need is a request.
Okay.
And what we do is we evaluate it based on
Yeah.
location
Mhm.
and anticipate the volume of customers.
Absolutely, yeah, thank you.
In my perfect world, there'd be an enclosure at every single stop.
Bus stalls.
And most people love the enclosures. Some
Yeah.
people don't. They
Yeah.
consider it not in my backyard. I don't want it.
Well, on a rainy day
Some
like
people would
that,
rather
it'd be
let a
nice.
stop not be in front of their building, as you can imagine. So we kind of have that delicate
A little bit of
balance.
both.
But all we need to know is where it is, and we'll go out and evaluate it.
Yeah.
Karen, what percentage of the fleet is hybrid or electric?
They're hybrid, they're diesel hybrids, hybrid
Okay.
electric.
Yeah.
Not electric.
Propane?
They're just like a Toyota
Oh.
Prius.
Hybrid.
They're about 25%, 30% of our fleet. And we
Okay.
made a decision about 2 years ago not to buy any more. And I'll tell you why. The delta, the price differential is about $150,000 more for a hybrid. And frankly, over the life of the bus, because we're about 7 years in on our first hybrids, we're not getting a return on investment. So the industry, and our industry needs to go a little bit further. What we're looking at now are electric-powered buses.
Electric, yeah.
Very popular in some parts of the country.
Yeah.
An emerging technology. And frankly, we need to get involved in that because the funding opportunities are with emerging technology. At the federal level, where most of our capital money comes from, we compete for funds based on innovation, based on advancing the industry, environmental concern. Right now, diesel hybrids are a thing of the past.
Okay.
We just don't see the return on investment.
You're talking about electric buses like they have in Seattle or battery?
On West Coast, yeah,
Yeah.
all electric,
West Coast has them.
yeah,
No, I was saying that type, not
That
something
type.
run on battery, okay.
no, that type.
Right.
So we talked about the ridership increases. 6 years ago, we were at 13.8 million annual ridership count. Right now, we are projected to finish at about 17.2 million this year. So a pretty significant bump and a sustained bump that is not tied to external factors. And what I mean by that is, back in the day, gas prices went up, transit ridership went up. Gas prices went down, transit ridership went down. Some sort of unusual events happen, ridership goes up. Unusual event happens, ridership goes down. We're now proud to say that we think we're sustaining our ridership increase. I mean, gas prices are still, $1.80 to $2.10 a
They're
gallon.
going up, Tom.
But they're still using our buses, so we
Okay.
like that.
Okay, I'm just telling you.
Some of the things that we're talking about right now are transit centers, not just enclosures, but facilities, buildings where people can wait inside and have buses come to the front door. And while they're inside, there'll be visual displays telling them when their buses are coming. By the way, you can use one of our apps and pull up real-time information on your phone right now.
Cool.
Within a month after we introduced real-time information to customers, that was about a year ago, introduced real-time information, complaints were cut down by 50%. So, pretty simple formula. Now when you go out to the front door, you enter the information on your app and it's gonna tell you what time the bus is coming. Not what time the bus is scheduled to come, or what time the schedule thinks the bus is gonna be there. What time the bus is going to be there. So complaints went down by 50%. Because people can tolerate us being late if they know that we're going to be late. They don't tolerate us being late if we don't know. So that's been a very big improvement. But the transit center that we're pursuing first, there's a picture of it. It's called the Uncle Sam Transit Center. I'm sorry to tell you, it's in Troy, right across from the Uncle Sam atrium. We're going to rehabilitate what is the garage, the facade of the garage, and use office space, what used to be office space, to turn it into a waiting area for our buses. That's about a $4.5 million project. Really pleased to tell you that we received about $700,000 in competitive funding from the state in the last round of the governor's economic development initiative. We're very pleased about that, and we expect to have this completed by early 2017.
Do you have any plan for the Albany corridor there?
We do, we have several. One is at Crossgates. We plan a transit center to be part of the mall, where people no longer will have to wait outside. And we have a very I call it a sketch plan here in downtown Albany, where the bus station is now.
Oh, great.
We have a draft plan where we would build a new bus station, renovate that whole area. But as you know, probably better than I do, that property is in the middle of the development zone, and we're waiting to see what happens before.
But that's off the beaten path, whereas in Troy, that's on the main street.
Yeah, it's right on the main drag.
I think something in Albany, if you can have it on the main drag, on Central or...
We're gonna rebuild Larkin, Washington later this year. We're gonna redo that intersection. We're working with the city of Albany.
That's good.
That's a problematic intersection. It's been ranked as one of the top 10 least safe intersections in upstate New York. We're going to redo traffic flow and pedestrian crossings, and then move that enclosure back towards the library and rebuild it and make it, I think, more attractive and more conducive to the surrounding environments. Not totally like that, but the same concept. But it goes back to the question about enclosures. We need, I mean, this is Albany. We need more covered places, heated places, lit places for people to wait for buses. That's a fact. How we get there is not the easiest thing, because in an urban area like this, an older urban area, there's not a lot of sidewalk space, there's not a lot of, it's tough for us to play nice with everybody. So, we talked a little bit about the smart card. It's called Navigator. That's what it looks like. Basically, you tap and go. If you have a card like this, you'll get near the fare box. You literally, you don't even have to tap the fare box. You wave in front of it, and if you have adequate funds, or you have one of our product loaded onto the card, you'll be able to board. We're going to have all the features of Easy Pass, automatic uploading, reloading, things of that nature. All of that's being tested right now. And as I said, within the next 3 or 4 months, that will be live. You'll also have the ability to put it on your phone and use your phone to I call it tap, but you're not really tapping. You're just getting close. It's a proximity situation. And away you go. That's a $10 million investment that we've made in technology. We are the first system in upstate New York to go smart cards and touchless technology. And in fact, in most of these, you're going to find that we're the first system in upstate New York. And in fact, the first system in New York. The governor it's very interesting. The governor has a transformational plan for the MTA as part of their capital program. And we've told the people in the governor's office that almost everything on the list we've already done. So we ought to be the test pilot for any initiative that's coming down the road, AKA, Governor, if you have any extra money, we're interested. So I'm a registered lobbyist, so I spend a lot of time doing that as well. Some things that we're talking about and working with different people on include ways to provide more mobility in the capital region. Doesn't have to necessarily be by bus. You've all heard about the different issues that we have with our taxi industry. We have been talking to a group of elected officials at the state level and people in the tourism industry about being an oversight agency for cabs. We wouldn't be a cab commission like you have in New York City, but we would be willing to help to ensure customer service, cleanliness, fare consistency, and that everyone is licensed, the appropriate background checks are had and done correctly. I think that that's likely to happen because frankly I'm not sure that anyone else in the region is equipped to do that quickly, seamlessly, and to have an impact. We will likely be the operator or manager of a regional bike share program. This has been tested over the last couple of years and it is ready to go. So just like you have, I was just in Fort Lauderdale, you walk up to a kiosk, you wave your card, or you use your credit card, you take the bike off the rack, and away you go for an hour, for 4 hours, for a day. It fits nicely with what we're doing because we have bike racks on all our buses. The fastest growing segment of our ridership, believe it or not, are people who use bikes. And now that you have a payment card where you could literally have a separate standalone system on your card, so you tap it and that's your bike debit program. So we have high hopes for that. And
Will your stalls also have those curved bikes, those red colorful bikes?
Yes, and you could also integrate the bike share into that as well.
Into that whole
So it goes with what we're doing and have been doing. And last but not least, there's a car share program you may or may not know here in Albany.
Oh, that's right.
It operates at Center Square, but frankly, it's never taken off because it's sort of been politely promoted and marketed. We're looking to assume that operation and not be so polite about marketing it, but telling people about it and encouraging people to use it. There are 8 cars right now that are located throughout the city. We think that could easily go to 16 or 20.
Great.
So we're looking at all those things. which is sort of the teaser into what's next. Navigator will go live, the card and mobile ticketing in a few months. Our Universal Access Program is our most successful program, and what that is 11 colleges and universities and a number of major employers negotiate a contract for service with us. And then their students, their employees, their associates use our buses free of charge, and we bill them on a quarterly basis. Their access key is their ID card. We program their ID card to sync up to our fare box, and they either swipe it through our box or eventually they'll tap it on our box, and we record rides and bill the entity. The transit center network that Paul asked, someone asked about, we want to expand that so that you'll see transit centers in all the urban areas and probably several of them on lines. And then the expansion of the BRT service. And Doug, I think I got it done in your 7 minutes.
Thank you, Karen.
Any questions?
Well, I got a question. We got a problem stopping. I brought it up to you, and you certainly know about it, at the Colony Mall, where people have to go in from from Central Avenue and go through the entire mall parking lot in order to get there. Is there any way that we can establish, stops inside those malls?
Highly doubtful. Firstly, it's not our property. So, honestly, if the mall doesn't want us on the property, I can tell you that they would rather we not be on the property. Immediately negotiating uphill. And then secondly, the mall was developed so that, the new mall was developed with our stops on the outside of the mall. Right now, for us to go back in, logistically, is a bit of an issue. The roadway in Colony Center roadways are very, very difficult. It's designed for cars and buses to be here and not here. So we could pursue it again, we could look at it again, but it's highly doubtful.
Just had to bring it up,
Even if it's on Wolf Road, it would be more convenient than on Central Avenue.
Yeah.
Well, we're on Wolf Road.
They got
Yeah,
to stop
they're-
them.
Oh, okay.
And we, frankly, we worked with the then mall ownership, because it's changed several
It's
times.
just people want to get off
There's
that.
a direct walkway right into the mall. Now, I understand that that's 200 feet or so from the mall,
At least, yeah.
and people would like to be curbside at the mall,
Sure.
but you're not curbside at the mall across gates yet.
Well,
Yeah, you will be.
okay,
You
good,
will be.
good.
Really quick question, they're still talking about the Maxwell Road Extension project, as well as, and I think everything that DOT has suggested that they wanna do, is based upon that,
Aviation.
that Maxwell Road Extension project. And everything that had to do with exit 3-4, et cetera. I assume that you've been pretty plugged into that, sort of, I think we're just waiting to see if we can get money, so to get it done.
Yeah, you know that we're members of CDTC, I sit on their policy board, so everything anything that comes through that has a transit slant. We have good relationships with the town of Colony and an excellent relationship with DOT. So if it happens, we know about it and we're part of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
planning process up front, because we think that we can play a critical role in it.
What do you envision with the casino in Schenectady? Do you envision for employees
Yes.
or from Albany
Yes.
having a shuttle up
Yes.
there? and back?
All of the above. We have, so far, we have found the people at Rush Gaming, the operators, to be one of the more progressive and open employers that we've dealt with. We've been dealing with them for the last year. They are familiar with transit services and want us to be part of their project from day one, not after day one, but from day one. They're talking to us right now about a universal access arrangement where their ID cards will be live on our buses. In turn, we would reroute some of our services to provide more direct access, to their facility. Very encouraging, from an employer's perspective. We'll leave whether you're in favor of casinos
Is that,
Well,
to another.
is that Malta facility have direct bus services in there? They have never wanted it, or there's a very large employer now.
Well, I don't have a blackboard here, but the
We'll have it for
location, the
next time.
location's problematic.
Yes,
It's not close to anything that we have currently.
okay.
And they're unable really to show us where people come from. And in fact, right now, people come from all over the place, so it's very difficult to identify. Remember earlier I said volume and density?
That's right.
That's the secret to our success.
Okay.
We need both volume and density, so you need a dense starting point and a
Okay.
dense finishing point, people that generate the volume. We've never been able to identify that. So what we have said is let's enter into a partnership, a
Yeah.
financial arrangement where we have service and you participate, at least in the pilot,
Yes.
the first several months, so that we work together to generate ridership. We've never been able to come to an agreement with that.
Interesting.
Doesn't make them bad, just makes them slow.
Great job.
Last question. The Livingston Avenue Railroad Bridge. You got any idea when they're gonna start the reconstruction?
That's above my pay grade.
Good
I
answer.
didn't mean to do that to
Good
you.
answer.
I can find out, I don't know.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to meeting adjourned?
Motion to meet and adjourn. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's get out of here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.